Dear souls, as a server of humanity, I bring to you today the message of the sacred Kriya Yoga, given to us by the supreme initiator of humanity, Shiv Goraksha Babaji. Babaji is the visible, invisible savior of humanity. He is called the Nameless One, and yet he goes by many names. And as he is beyond the comprehension of the normal ken of humanity, he often accommodates himself to the limited understanding of us human beings and appears to us from time to time. He has given to us a means whereby, a pathway to peace, whereby we may realize the Divine Indweller within the depths of our own consciousness. Babaji first gave the original Kriya Yoga to the Yoga Avatar Sham Charan Dev Lahiri Mahasaya in the autumn of 1861 in the Himalayas at a place in Ranikhet. The science was kept in its pristine purity and later passed down to the great Jnana Avatar Sri Yukteswar, who was the Guru of the Prem Avatar, Paramahansa Yogananda, who has his ashrams and his followers here. It is to this lineage that I belong, having been blessed by Shiv Goraksha Babaji to spread the message of Kriya Yoga throughout the world. I was also in close association with a direct disciple of Sri Yukteswar called Swami Satyananda Giri, who was a contemporary of Paramahansa Yogananda, and as Yogananji looked after the American department, Satyananda Giri looked after the Sadhu Sabha formed by Sri Yukteswar in India. I had a close association with him, as well as a brother disciple of Swami Satyananda Giri called Hariharananda Giri. And so this is the direct tradition. But after which, not satisfied with myself and my practice, I traveled to the Himalayas in search of this great being about whom naught may be said, the being called Babaji. And at first, when I began on my trek to the Himalayas, it seemed that the path is very difficult and it's a long journey to a goal which I may never find. But something in my heart told me, even at that age of 23 and 24, that something good and something more than what I expected was destined for me. And as I climbed up the rarer regions of the Himalayas, my mind began to lose its boundaries. And as it began to lose its boundaries, a thought struck me that why is the past flowing into the present? And why is the present flowing into the future? I said, this is very strange. And I climbed up to the heights of the Himalayas, partly by foot and partly hitchhiking. I met many a saint and many a yogi on the path who indicated to me in indirect but no uncertain terms that yes, the Himalayas was hallowed by such a great being who goes by many names but yet is called the Nameless One. He goes by the name of Babaji, he goes by the name of Mahavatar, he goes by the name of Shiv Goraksha Babaji, he goes by the name of Mahasiddha Baba, Trembak Baba, Mahamuni. So Trembak Baba is another name for Shiva. Anyway, the long and short of it is that as I traveled up to the rarer regions of the Himalayas, it didn't take me very long to be acclimatized like it would take now. I mean, as you grow older, you take more time to acclimatize. And I went to the sacred place of Badrinath, worshipped at the temple of Badrinath. From there went via Charan Paduka, which is at the base of the majestic Neelkanteshwar mountain, and carried on into the rarer regions, losing all sense of direction. The boundaries of my mind melted, and for a moment I thought that this is a crazy place. Am I hallucinating? Just at that time, I had a vision of the divine form of the mother at the age of, say, a 12-year-old girl. She gave me the confidence that you are on the right path. This is the place hallowed by Babaji. As I climbed up, my mind was boundless and opened into a new flow of intuition. The mind was not thinking. The mind was dissolving into an awareness. And when the mind dissolves and awareness takes its place, we call this samadhi. What is samadhi? Samadhi, if you describe it in English, it is not trance, it is not how to do this with you, how to convey. Now, samadhi would be an ecstasy of expanded consciousness with no thought at all. That was the stage. I'm wanting you to know this experience because it was my humble endeavor to go where I went. Perhaps it was by His blessings, not by my own, and so that I could be a better server of humanity. And I hope today I will be able to serve you by giving you more than a talk, giving you an experience today of what I feel and what is my state when I meditate. What is the energy of kundalini which I am using when I meditate? I can share this with you. If it becomes too much for you, because I'm totally mad, you're half mad, so it may be, I don't want to make you crazy like me, then you can get up and go out. But I'm going to give it in a certain controlled manner and form. The people who are to the left then would have to come to the front naturally to receive the energy, but it's okay. So as I went into this state of expanded awareness, I kept climbing the heights. Then I met a few people on the hillside, and some yogis, they came up to me and they said, okay, Ram Ram. So I said Ram Ram. Ram Ram is a very ancient way of wishing people, like Namaste or you know, hello, good morning. It's accosting another person in the name of God. Jai Ram. You know, Jai Ram. Jai Ram Ji ki. Like Viva Ram. Viva. Viva Las Vegas. So you say Viva. So Viva is like Jai Ram. Viva means victory. Victory to you. Jai means victory to you. It is exactly more or less the same thing. And so I asked them the way to the cave of Babaji. There were just two people. So they came to me and they were smiling. They didn't answer my question. And they said, you keep going and God is great. You will find the place. And so, as I carried on my journey, I came upon a high rise where it was flat and green. I do not know how much I had climbed, because my climb started from 10,500 feet. And at the age of 23, you know, a person doesn't get tired. So, and we had the school habit of jogging partially up the hills. So I said, no, jogging up the Himalayas is quite an idea. So let me try it. So I carried on, and after some time I gave it up as a bad joke. It was unending, and the path narrowed. One very peculiar thing happened. Whenever I give an experience of my journey to the Himalayas or my meeting Babaji, I always am not able to give the complete experience. I cannot capacitate, or I cannot formulate the whole experience in a picture. New incidences come up every time, which I have not given formally. So as I climbed up, I was able to make good my way. And then suddenly the path narrowed, and when I walked on the path, there was a steep fall. The fall could have been, you know, the lesser was the 300 to about 1,500 feet or something. They were deep ravines. And then a voice came. Who cometh there? Go back, there's nothing here, nothing for you. Came in Hindi, the voice, a loud voice said, Hey Morao, wapas lord jao. Hey Morao. Morao means, oh boys, go back, return back. You'll find nothing here. Go back. I said, this is very strange. Voice sounded alien. I didn't seem to agree with the message, although it came as a sound through the air, you know. Return back, there's nothing. I said, no, I'm no way going to return back. I said, I've not come to return back. I've come with a do or die spirit. So the do or die spirit is there, which helps you a lot. And definitely, maybe at times I thought that it was me making the effort, or it was due to my great chivalry or my determination that I met Babaji. No way. It was His grace and His glory. And because He desired it to be so, it was so. Of course, there were these stored impressions in my memory bank which came to the fore and flowered. They were my good karma of a past life. And because of this good karma and the blessings of Babaji, I was able to reach a certain place. Then I rested. As it began to darken, the evening tide came. I lost all sense of direction, and by the time I had reached there, I had lost my mind, which is very good and a very laudable state. In Indian language and yoga language, you lose your mind, you get into samadhi. In America, you say you lost your mind, they'll say you're cookie. They'll say this guy is nuts. So, not in the sense of becoming mad or losing your mind in like some schizophrenics lose it, or some other crazy guys. I lost my mind into an awareness of a superior dimension. This was very interesting thing happening to me, and no doubt was there, but rationale was there, because there was a phase when I was passing out of my mind, and I was half in my mind and half in consciousness, half in samadhi and half in rational mind. It was a very peculiar situation, as a swan trying to fly out of the cage, and half of it is in flight, it's lengthening, and half of it, as it lengthens in its free flight, the other half of it is stuck in the cage of the limited body, the limited mental body. The mind, I have always said, is an obstruction to the receiving of higher knowledge and gnosis. Therefore, when I give you a transmission, a healing transmission, a Shaktipat today, but I would request you to drop your mind and open your heart. And you would of course do this by sitting with implicit faith like a child of 5. That's the way to receive it. It's very simple. So as I went on, I disengaged myself. The consciousness was able to disengage itself and go into a higher flight, a higher state of what you call trance, which is not trance, it's higher. It's an ecstasy of expanded awareness. And when I went there, I lay down exhausted on a grassy patch, because the height could have been easily 13 to 14,000 feet. It was the summertime. So this was a little above the snow line, is 12 to 13,000 feet. That's where I was. And the clouds came over. And as the clouds came, I was lulled to a sleep and felt I was being revamped and washed by cool and warm currents running up and down my spine. After which the sun came out. My eyes were closed. So I said, the sun has come out. And from the firmament, from the skies, a voice came, indeed, the sun has come out for you. So this voice was the voice of the Ancient of Days, the voice of God, like the voice of God. I turned around on my stomach, prostrate. I turned from a supine position to a prostrate position on my stomach, and I pranamed. And I said, who art thou? Who are you? So he said, whoever you think me to be, that I am to thee. Here you're contacting an infinite being. He's not going to have any personal name or identity card or this thing. You're contacting the spirit of the universe. What answer do you expect? I mean, whatever you say. So he gave me the choice. He said, go boy, have fun. And my mind, from its past memories, filtered into my tongue and mouth and lips and took the shape Shiv Goraksha Babaji. And he said, Tathastu. When he said Tathastu, the sun was shining, it was a bright sky, and yet the lightning struck in the skies. It was so surreal. but it was more real than see. The reality was more than the seeality. So it was surreal, but it was true because I could see this and I could feel this happen. And then so on and so forth. Then we get to his form. I have described him in my book, Wings to Freedom. And if I describe it in too much detail, I get into a trance every time I describe it. So I don't get into this state of expanded consciousness. He had long hair. He was simpler than simplicity. And his body was dry and yet appeared wet. And the fragrant odor of his body told me the tale of his immortality. His smile had a majesty. It was simplicity, but had a gravity. The gravity of his smile and the smile of his gravity was such a state that it could break the space-time continuum and take you beyond the rings pass not. His smile could take you to the land of no return. That means he could break all your bonds, all your karma could be dissolved if he so desired in one smile. Such was the majesty of his smile. Dissolve all your karmas, break the bonds faster than light, back to the future. Break the bonds of the space-time continuum and take you to the reality beyond. This is the power of the smile of the being called Shiv Goraksha Babaji. And after that, what happened, whatever happened, the blessing happened. I was there, out of my physical body, out of my emotional body, out of my mental body, out of the causal body even, just in a vast space of awareness, partaking of him who was a part of my innermost being. This was the experience, and beyond that it is difficult to describe. So this was the meeting of this great being who in his compassion has come to us. He belongs to no religion, no creed, no caste. He is the innermost core of the essence of our souls. And if we practice Kriya Yoga sincerely, we will be able to see him, to realize him in the depths of our own consciousness. This is the being called Babaji. He is so easy to contact for a child with a pure heart. For elders, we must work. So this was my meeting with the great Shiv Goraksha Babaji, and it was deep in the night after I had finished this that I trekked my way back from this place, which was not made known to me, nor any map nor any direction was given.